And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. We are Franklin Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, 100 grand. Set it off, Chris, with me. How you feeling today, Chris?
Hey man, it's Friday, man. We've been ripping and running, man. We've been flipping contracts, doing different things like that, but slowly but surely and chugging along. Our Dallas Cowboys have been, putting games together. So we get to week 9,
Mm-hmm.
kind of measuring stick week for us. Well, not really measuring stick, but kind of playing against a team that we want to beat. We're going to have to catch it. We're going to have to end up seeing to get
Yeah.
to our ultimate goal. And
Mm-hmm.
we get to play those dreaded Philadelphia Eagles this week, man.
Yeah, man. And one thing, I always want people to understand that this is one of those weeks that you really want, Chris. You
Okay.
really want to win this game. Regardless of what other people say, oh, the other team wants this game more than we do. We not really thinking about it. No, this is the divisional game,
Right.
and you know, regardless of the big bro, little bro narrative behind it, because we put fits in them more time than that. We still want this game in the year of our Lord 2023.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to win this game. You want to have an opportunity. With the last time they played each other, we played them. They had their quarterback, we didn't. Then the next
Yep,
time we played them, they didn't have their quarterback, and we had ours.
sure enough.
We both sparred off. But we got some what's got to go right type things for us to win this game. Because like you said, we want this game because it is a divisional game. We want to close the gap because
Mhm.
we want the trip to get to the Super Bowl to be shorter, not longer. Don't want to have to go on the road, and
Of
this is
course,
one of the games that you got to win, so you don't have to do that.
yeah. So that brings about the overarching question then, on our side.
Hmm.
What do the Cowboys have to do right, or what has to go right for the Cowboys to win this game? Because the narrative right now is that the Eagles are the better team. They are, one of, if not the best team in football right now.
Well, I mean,
So what has to go right for Dallas to win this game?
like you always say, what Bill Parcells says, your record is you are what your record says you are, and
Okay.
they are 7-1. Now, have they looked like world beaters in doing it? Absolutely
Mm-hmm.
not. So
Mm-hmm.
they've had a lot of tight games. They had 2 tight games with the Commanders, the football team, and played them tight. They haven't looked overarchingly dominant at all year.
Mm-hmm.
Had some breaks here and there. Um, so they're totally beatable, but they've been doing the little things right against certain teams, against everybody they've been able to play to win games, and they've been fortunate to keep it kind of simple. They have the leading in interceptions as a quarterback, and I know any other time if another guy with a particular single digit number throws interceptions for a football team, it's the most important thing going into the week. Nobody's talking about that, but I
Mm-hmm.
think for us right now or going into this, I think health is our biggest issue going into this week. And
Yeah.
you're saying, yeah, health is our biggest issue. And you'll say, hey, Chris, what you mean health? Health of our offensive line. If
Explain that. Set it off, Chris of Franklin Football, one of the greatest shows in the YouTube universe.
well, the problem is the health with our offensive line. If our offensive line is not to the point of healthy enough, particularly at the left tackle position, um, I think that puts us at a huge disadvantage in this game. I think of our 5 linemen that we've been wanting to see on the field together, I think this year we've got them on the field together twice
Yeah.
for 2 games. And then in the game we had them in, it wasn't over. It wasn't like particularly like to the point that you felt amazing about it. We went and played the Los Angeles Chargers. We looked like we struggled. We kind of hemmed and hawed. We hitched at it, and it didn't seem like we moved in the direction we wanted to get to. So, with Tyron Smith being out or being limited again, and then his backup Chuma Adoga, him being
Mm-hmm.
hurt, it puts us to the point of putting Assam Richards, rookie out of North
Ah.
Carolina. Yeah,
Yeah.
rookie. Yeah, out there on the
Yeah.
island on the left tackle, and seeing how he does. And that's problematic for us. I
Yeah.
think I think from left guard to right tackle, I think we're okay. I think Terrence Steele has not fully gotten back from that his Achilles, not his Achilles, but his ACL injury that he had. I think he's playing. He's playing okay, but he's not Terrence Steele from before the injury. And
Yeah.
the ACL is a year-long injury. I don't care how we try to look at it.
Okay.
So he's kind of working his way. Now he's able to play, he's able to move, but he isn't at his elite level. So health is my
Okay.
biggest concern for me. Tell me what's one of your biggest concerns.
Tyler Biotis really ain't been, a dude that's been showing up consistently every week, right?
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of concerning when you also have, concerns on, like, you can't have question mark, stalwart, question mark, on your offensive line. And I'm talking obviously about the left tackle spot. And this is a contract year for Tyler Biotis. So that just makes it, really, really hard on him. So he's a guy that I'm really interested in seeing him show up, especially with
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis, being a guy who can wreak havoc.
Right.
On that Eagles line. And he's a guy who is who may not have played this week, with his ouch my back issues coming up.
Okay. Well,
so that along with Terrence Steele, who I've apologized to many times, but then has me, coughing under my breath like, man, he just did this. He just did this so I could say sorry.
I mean, you look at that. You look at, like I said, with Terrence and with Tyler. I think the one thing that you worry about with Tyler Biotis, I think he's more of a technician. He's not a power guy. I mean, but the guy who played before him, who's all world and still forever in our hearts as being one of the greatest centers we ever had, he wasn't a power guy either. But as long as you can stay solid in that guard center guard slot situation, especially with not Tyler, with Tyler Smith and with Zach Martin, I think we're gonna be okay. I think that's gonna be a real good battle. I want to see those boss fights between Jalen Carter and Zach Martin, and see how that works out and go from there. But you're gonna have to be able to get some kind of running game against this team, so you can work against the subpar to, as you called them, Fugazi quarterbacks. Fugazi. I mean, you had to make people want to pull the chain out. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop. You just hit me with it. So I think you're gonna have to be able to run the football to be able to get to the point of challenging their cornerbacks as well as their linebackers.
Now let's talk about the running game. Because last week I said that I think I might have seen enough of Tony Pollard being listed as the featured back. I think in previously on Frankly Football, we have said that Tony Pollard is a running back who is at his best when he sees roughly 12 to 15 touches per game. Okay. That sounds about right, correct?
15 to 18 is kind of like his max. Cool. But I mean, you want him doing that. But I'm gonna let you continue to finish it. Finish how you feeling, what you're saying about Tony, and what you want to do with Tony.
Okay, so trying to constantly beat our head against the wall with Tony Pollard in situations that are less than ideal is only going to work to our detriment. So it may be good for us to see once again a little bit more Rico Dowdle, maybe a bit of Hunter Lipke, maybe some funky sets where we, give it to CD Lamb or Kavontae Turpin, but behind the line of scrimmage, a little bit of jet sweep situation, so that we don't just have to put Tony, even though he's on pace for a career year, like he's on pace for like 1,050 yards, which will be a career year for him.
Mhm.
but he's like the 15th or 16th ranked rusher in the league as far as yards. Like
Mhm.
that's where he is. But and this and that is killing me.
that's
But
that's how it is when it's live, baby.
yes, but I think that we need to incorporate all of our running back room and also other gangsters that we have who could potentially be a little bit more diverse with the ball in their hands, because in a lot of situations Tony isn't the guy that he was pre-injury, because that the ankle is just pesky, and B, his running style isn't suited between the guard and the center. That isn't where he's going to be the most successful. How do you
I,
feel about that? Set
I,
it off,
I
Chris.
think I think more importantly, I think you're not using him where he's most effective with the
Yes,
outside zone runs and things of that nature. I still
absolutely.
think you had. I think the one thing that we banged on Zeke for
Mm-hmm.
is because as he can continue to mature and get older, he wasn't able to bust off those 6, 7, 8, 10, 15-yard runs in between the tackles. But I've always gone
Impressive.
back to this. I've always gone back to this. The O line hasn't been what it was. That 2016 offensive line, you haven't
Prolific.
seen that. You have not seen that offensive line, or you've seen glimpses of it,
Mm-hmm.
flashes of it, but you haven't seen that. And so when Zeke was
The
at
Mount
his best,
Rushmore.
yeah, when Zeke was at his best for this offensive line, his best is when that offensive line was in whole and intact and doing what it was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So as you had different iterations of that offensive line, you've seen the running game kind of slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Tony is a better complementary back than he is a starter. But the thing that's going to keep him on the field is he makes $10 million. His and I'm not counting his pockets. I'm just telling you how the Cowboys feel about it. Because he's a $10 million player, he's going to be on the field. But I do think that you have to find ways of getting him the ball in space where he can be more effective. I think you can run Rico Dotto. I was on you about Hunter Lemke. I think you're going to have to use Hunter Lemke some to be able to keep this thing kind of balanced. Hey, I'll give you that. It was a good idea to keep him. You had hit me one day on let's go back and get Ronald Jones. I'm like, for what? He had practice, but he had practice. He hadn't shown you anything in camp at all. And then with him coming off the 2 games, so I didn't think you needed to bring him back. I just think the biggest concern for us is continue to find ways to get the people the ball in space.
Yes.
And when we do have to block it up, be able to block it up. But it's all going to come down, honestly, to how it's not kind of like they have to you can't mask a terrible offensive line, but you have to find ways to make it advantageous for your quarterback and your offense to work while you're trying to work against that deficiency. And the biggest deficiency is going to be at my left tackle spot.
Yeah.
And I don't want to become one-dimensional and say, okay, I'm just only going to do outside, and if I'm not going to challenge him inside. I'm going to have to challenge him inside.
I think my quarterback is talented enough to work within the bounds of his team, though. I'm not here to say that the Eagles have dominated guys who have had subpar offensive lines, Chris. Like the Eagles have played the teams that we have played, you know?
Right.
The Eagles have beaten the teams that we have beaten, Chris. Like we can look at this, Chris. The data is here, Chris. The data is we have empirical data to show that the Eagles have played the teams that we have played. Look how close a lot of these scores are. These are 1-score games.
Okay. Oh, hey, listen, I'm knocking
Zach Wilson and the Jets beat the Eagles, Chris.
Yeah, I was at home on their field, a lot of different things.
In they building. He ate cheesesteaks in they building after that. He ate cheesesteaks in their city.
Wasn't that a road game for them? Wasn't that a road game for the Eagles?
I don't know, but still, I feel like he still ate cheesesteaks that night.
So you think after he won, he drove down to Philly just to eat a cheesesteak in their building and say, I beat you? That's something petty I do.
The Jets play in Jersey. Philly ain't that far from Jersey, Chris. Philly ain't that far from Jersey.
No,
But
it's not that far.
like I said, Chris. But like I said, we got data, Chris. We got empirical data, Chris. Let's lift up the other hand. Let's lift up the other hand, Chris.
So
let's lift up the other hand.
If you're doing your blind reveal or you're doing your data, we play them, you play them. Hey, listen, the biggest thing is that you end up having.
How did we do against Zach Wilson and the Jets? That same Zach Wilson, that same Sauce Gardner, those same guys, those same dudes,
Hey, I'm with you on that, but I'm not speaking down about anything.
The Rams, matter of fact, here we go, Chris. The Rams allowed 4 passing touchdowns all year. My quarterback passed for 4 on them in one game.
Listen, I'm with you on that. I'm not knocking the fact of the matter that we have mollywopped everybody they played. Okay, we beat them up and the whole 9. So this is what I guess we've been wanting since last year. Since the world has said Hurts is an elite top tier quarterback and Rain is a turnover machine. At least that's what they tried to say last year. Because turnovers don't matter anymore. Interceptions don't matter anymore. I'd be damned.
And also, I'm going to say that John Jones said the Jets are a top 10 team in his opinion.
I'm
not sure I'm inclined to agree. But I like the spin that he's putting on it. That means that we did that to a top 10 team. I love it. He likes it, I love it.
I mean, being top 10 in a 32 league team, 32 league team is great. All I know is right now they've got 1 less loss than we have. They have 1 less loss, and so for us to make up the ground we need to make, we said what has to go right. So what has to go right is we've got to get a little bit healthier or be able to stay healthy enough through this game on Sunday to give time. You said that the Eagles cornerbacks are fugazi. I'm not crazy.
And I got to talk about that. Hold on.
Okay.
I have more. No, keep talking because I got to pull up my data. Okay. Like I said, Chris, we have empirical data. Keep talking.
Right. I'm just saying. You said they're bad. I think they're a product of their defensive line. Their defensive line is very is stout, and it causes you, if you can't run the football, you have to put yourself in a position where you're throwing from 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and long, which kind of gives an advantage to the defense. But if you're able to run the ball somewhat, if you're able to kind of keep them guessing, and if you're able to get people in space, that's my biggest thing. But I don't think their linebacker group is as tough as other teams have. So I think.
Are you talking about the Eagles linebacker group?
Absolutely, the Eagles linebacker group. I don't think they're as good as. I definitely don't think they're as good as the 49ers 2 linebackers or 3 linebacker set. So I think you have got to work in those different areas. To get people in place. Get me Jake Ferguson in one-on-ones with their linebackers. Get me out in space where one of their linebackers or their third corner has to run around with Brandon Cooks, or deal with Jalen Tolbert, or even a more physical and trying to keep my job, Michael Gallup. And then and let's not even talk about the monster CeeDee Lamb is. I think this is going to be I won't say coming out party, but I think this is one of the games that CD really looks forward to. And he's not doing a lot of talking, but he's doing a lot of strutting when he's doing what he's doing on the field. Coming off that 12-catch game from last week, I definitely think this is going to be an opportunity for CD to do his thing. He's really gotten back into his bag and being Yak Lamb.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's really gotten to that, and I think that's going to be key. So getting the ball to people in space. I think that's one thing we really haven't done with Tony well. Is getting the ball in space.
And that comes from him not being the guy that is the complimentary guy. He's the lead guy right now. When he's the lead guy, he has to handle those lead back duties. He's not just the complimentary guy who could take a snap here and there. If you watch the game, the Titans game last night, Tajay Spears, even though Will Levis missed him, Will Levis, had to had missed him on what would be a touchdown. Tajay Spears was able to run routes, ran a perfect wheel route in what would have been a touchdown. Will Levis missed him right off of his hands. Will Levis doing Will Levis things. But I don't think that your lead back is able to take on all of those duties all the time. Tony is just suffering from the burden of being a lead back now.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's so much of a burden. I just think the way they're running him is his biggest issue. I don't think it's to the
Your
point.
scheme definitely has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, the scheme has a lot to do with it, and so now you're running. Where Tony was most explosive is coming off edges. He's never been a center guard.
That's a bit,
and that's a huge thing for him to be able to do. And that was always our biggest. Everybody was trying to, he can do it, but it's a whole lot.
No, when did he do that at Memphis? When did he do that at Memphis?
I mean, he was never a guy who.
He was never a large volume guy in Memphis. He was never a power back in Memphis. That's the thing, though, Chris. That's the thing.
But what I'm still saying, but the power back he does have, or not power back, the burden he does have now is that his wallet, the amount of money they're paying him, and
burning the hole in his pocket.
Well, it's not burning the hole in his pocket. It's burning the hole in the Cowboys' mind because they paid him money to be that guy. So
for 1 year.
Since they paid him,
just for 1 year,
and for 1 year. So go from there. So like I said, you're going to have to play a little bit running back, a little bit more complimentary running back type thing. But I think Rico Dowdle gets more touches. I think you get Kevontae Turpin in space. I think you just start working the football in areas where you can get people in space as this offensive line progressively gets to the point of as healthy as it's going to be as we get more snaps. See, that was our biggest thing for me. I told you, coming into the league, I would have rather gone with Hassan Richards more than I would Chuma Adoga at left tackle to get him reps.
Chuma got gangster in him, though, Chris. Chuma just so happened to get hurt, and it's a low ankle sprain. You know that ain't as high on the pecking order as a high ankle sprain, right? He got a low ankle sprain. His foot just said ouch.
It's an ankle. It's an ankle for a guy who don't move extremely well. So,
but Chuma got that gangster in him. It turns out Chuma could choke somebody out. I didn't realize.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir.
His name is Chuma. His name is Chuma. He done had to fight somebody somewhere.
He's Nigerian. I didn't realize that.
Okay. Yeah. So
but I'm glad that you talked about CD Lamb getting in space. Check this out. I'm glad that we have access to the vault. Boom.
Okay.
So let's see. Sam Howell was out there throwing darts. Look at the fugaziness. Look at this. Where are these guys? Whole middle of the field is open.
But
exposed.
Back that up. Is he working on the third corner? Is he working on he's not working against Slay. He's not working against Bradbury. He's working on a civilian. So that means the third corner, right, or their linebackers are your weak spots. So you're gonna have Logan Thomas or McLaurin.
That is Jahan Dotson, I believe, is
right.
number one.
Okay, yeah, okay. So that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at. So
but like I said, Chris, these guys they had Sam Howell out there looking like Pat Mahomes.
Okay,
Sam Howell. My guy is better than Sam Howell, Chris.
Okay, my guy is better than Sam Howell.
Sam Howell almost put up 400 on him.
Yeah, Sam did work to him, but it's also to the point Sam put 400 on him because they were playing from behind.
Okay,
they were playing from behind, so they did have to throw it.
The point that I'm trying to make is, if we happen to be playing from behind, we have a CD Lamb, we have a Dak Prescott. I think my guy could do at least what Sam Howell did.
I just don't want to become to the point that I'm so one-dimensional in this football game or any football game that I'm consistently throwing, because I can always lead to the point of mistakes happening. I still got to be able to run somewhat. I got to make it somewhat balanced. But it's going to be predicated at the end of the day, when all is said and done, it's going to be based on 4. how 4 plays
Yeah.
on Sunday is going to be the storyline. If 4 goes out there and throws for 4 touchdowns, throws for 200-300 yards on his team and wins, it's going to be play on play. Oh, he finally had this kind of game. When you and I and everybody talking to us at 9:18 tonight already know he always has these kind of games against me. You know,
especially against this team. He does this against this team.
Dude, he owns this. He's on this team. He's on this division. So he's been the king of it. I just want him to be able to have the time to be able to make some of those decisions back there. And that's why my biggest concern is not the defense. It's not my kicking game. It's not my punt returner. It's my offensive line this week.
I get that. Like I said, these guys, and let me see. Let me get that number, and I'll figure out who this is. I'll figure out if this is Bradbury or Slay. I'm
just being honest
24.
with you.
I'll get right back with you.
Yeah, that's Bradbury. Yeah, that's
there we go.
Okay. I mean, but you're still sitting there understanding what I think you're understanding me. I know you're hearing me.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm just saying that far more inferior guys have done it. Why not us?
I mean, we've done it before. But my thing, when you go back to that clip, what you just showed us, how was the offensive line looking? You can hear me clearly. I mean, we've done it before, but I am not feeling my offensive line right now. Hey, call the doctor. Call an ankle specialist. Call a knee and back guy to figure out what's going on with Tyron. Do that. If you're gonna call somebody, call them. Can you get a backiotomy?
A backiotomy? What is that?
Whatever it is to help my left tackle situation, man.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. I believe that the Eagles, Bradbury and Slay are not what they were last year. And it's abundantly clear. It's abundantly clear that Bradbury and Slay are not what they were last year. The whole big play Slade thing is no more. It is Slay will get slayed. It's a Bradbury smoothie. So I can come up with 1 million of them. I'm here all week.
I mean, you're here all week. I see you have little to no respect for the secondary.
I'm just saying that they're fugazi. This has happened before. That is why a lot of these games are close. Is because the Eagles secondary, those guys can be thrown on. That is the weakness of that defense. Is the secondary. The front is abominable, but the secondary is the weakness of that defense.
Okay, so
that is why they went out and got the guy from Tennessee. That's why they did that.
The safety, Bird.
Yeah, that's why they went out and got him. I mean, Howard Roseman is to be respected. He's one of the best GMs in the league. Like, and I'll say it here live, and I'll tweet it, whatever. Howard Roseman should have a RICO case. Howard Roseman needs to. Stop that man today.
And he picks
somebody plant a key in his trunk and a small Asian girl in his basement.
They gotta do something, but I mean, it don't stop with how he moved the salary cap around. So
absolutely,
that's true.
He's a wizard. He is a wizard.
Yeah, but, like John said, go ahead.
But that doesn't stop the fact that their secondary is their issue.
Okay. So your secondary is an issue. Yeah. Being able to play in space. That's secondary is the issue because you can throw on them. But the thing about it with this football team, they're able to make enough plays, with their quarterback, with Jalen Hurts, and run the football.
Okay, flip it over to their offense. Flip it over to their offense.
So with their offense, which hasn't scored a lot of points from what you've shown us, but they've been able to score enough. So
they've been able to just figure out ways to win.
Yeah, they don't mind going for they don't mind playing all 4 downs. So you're gonna have to stop this team from running. You're gonna have to stop run the football, and you're gonna have to make it. It's going to have to be fourth and, whereas most of the time it was like 4th and 1. Most people look like, oh, they're going to punt. This team is not going to do that on 4th and 1. So you're going to look at now slowing them down offensively. So what's your biggest quirks about their offense? Because you've already rallied about how terrible the secondary is and things of that nature. So go ahead.
Jalen Hurts can give the ball away.
Wait. Hold on. Who? What?
Jalen Hurts can give the ball away.
Wait a minute. Hold on, bro. Hold on. You mean Jalen Hurts makes mistakes with the football?
Oh yes.
Wait a minute. You mean that people outside of Rain Dakota Prescott throw the ball to other people?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And now,
brother.
Now that what is the other guy's name who got benched? Desmond Ridder has been benched. Jalen Hurts is actually the starter with the most interceptions. Well, pardon me, the most turnovers in the league right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Surprising.
So
shocking.
No, not really. But go ahead.
Perplexing, even.
Okay. So
see our word of the day. So with that being said, I believe that the Cowboys have a defense that is extremely opportunistic. And they don't have to wait for opportunities. They will create their own. You know the saying, you don't wait for luck, you create your own.
Okay.
I think the Cowboys create their own opportunities on defense.
And
the biggest X factor, and when we were talking about this, in the pre-show, the biggest X factor, this may sound weird, is DeMarcus Lawrence versus Lane Johnson. Now,
go ahead. Explain why.
Let me explain why. This is going to sound very weird because it's levels to this, right? There's like 3 tiers to this as to why this is the biggest X factor.
Okay. So we need a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, trickle-down effect. There we go. Trickle-down economics doesn't work, but trickle-down tackles, ooh, Chris is going to be great.
Okay.
Trickle-down tackles.
Okay.
DeMarcus Lawrence and Lane Johnson are very familiar with each other. Been across from each other 2 times a year for quite some time.
Right.
Now, both are very old, but D-Law has been having himself a year. I tell you what.
Okay.
If D-Law wins this outing and can force Hurts, away from his side, the common belief is that Hurts ain't gonna go, just straight towards Parsons' side, right? That would be foolish. That would be insane, right?
Okay, I'm listening.
So, common thought is that Hurts would step up into the pocket, right? So D-Law winning his battle is going to determine what I believe is the true X factor for the offense, the Dallas defensive line, who is Osa Odigizua.
Okay.
Osa's been having himself a year, dog. Osa's been having himself a year. And Tyler Steen is looking to be starting inside for Philly.
Okay.
And if D-Law's having himself a day on the outside, that's going to first force Hurts up.
Into the pocket.
Force him to step up into the pocket.
Okay.
Right into the spider web.
So you basically
it's like a moth flying straight into the spider web.
So you're basically saying with Tyler Steen and Travis Kelce, you're more
Jason
inept
Kelce,
to see
yes.
how. I mean, Jason, my bad. Now I need Travis is tight in my bad. So with Jason, so you're basically saying you're worrying about keeping Hurts inside the pocket or keeping him inside the well. Kind of the analogy they used to use with Michael Vick all the time. Keep him inside the well, so that you know where he was at. So it's going to be basically Hankins, Mozzie, Osa, Neville Gallimore, those guys winning that.
Osa is the guy that I'm keyed in on though. Osa is the guy.
Okay.
because
OC,
he's the one who I think is gonna have. He's a little faster than Hankins. Got a little bit more gas in the tank.
he's a 3 tech, so he's
Yeah,
supposed to be able to do that. So I
yeah.
think so. I'm with you. So you're saying basically, if you can turn around and get Osa to be able to win his one-on-one battle, keep Hankins, keep it to the point that Kelsey and Hankins, fight to the death, Godzilla versus King Kong type scenario.
Kelsey and D-Law.
Yeah. No. Lane Johnson. You're talking about Lane
Oh, Lane
Johnson.
Johnson. Lane Johnson. My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Lane Johnson.
Right. But you're expecting DeMarcus to be able to win his battle for the most part, and then to the point of instead of having Hurts being able to get out to the outside, keep him. You're basically working on containing. That's all you're saying.
Yes.
And we're thinking. I don't think so much that they're going to put Micah on the edge. I think they've kind of found a way to keep Micah in the middle of the field, and have him just go run and hit and come from that area. They are still pass rushing from the defensive end side, because he did get that sack this week from a defensive end. But I just believe the way Sam Williams is playing better on the outside, continue with that rotation with him, Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong. That I think that's a bigger problem for the opposite side of the ball than it is just with Lane Johnson. I think their rotation with defensive ends has started to progress and be to the point that I can keep Mike in the middle of the field and situationally passing, rushing from the defensive end. I like that better than it was last year, where he was more and more being the defensive end.
Absolutely.
That all comes with, like you said, I'll give you that, Lane Johnson, DeMarcus Lawrence, but I just think the ability to stop the run. I think with Mozzie, I think with Hankins, I think with Neville, I think with Osa, I think that's definitely going to be the biggest thing. If you can cause them to be in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7s, and make him have to throw, even though AJ Brown's going to get his, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Can you stop him from getting doing this 125 thing? That's going to be the biggest thing. But the way the offense is set up, their offense is set up, they run it with a lot of short drags and things of that nature. But don't be so surprised with Devontae Smith having a pretty good day as well.
Okay, so we talked about their guys in the back end. We got some dudes back there, unlike them. We got some dudes in our secondary, Chris.
I think you have an emerging. You really have, and no, hold on. You got a guy that's kind of looking like he may mess around and make All Pro, maybe second team. He's definitely
second team.
Yeah, I think he'll make second. I think he'll make second. I think he makes second.
That sucks.
It's political.
That sucks, bro.
I don't.
That sucks, bro.
Man, because even though he's got interceptions and scoring touchdowns, 3 to perhaps probably leading some wide receivers, but I'm not gonna call their name. But the thing with him is that they're he is, but Devontae ain't got no quarterback. I mean, it's rough out there. It's rough out there with the Raiders. But at the end of the day, Deron Bland is playing amazingly well. Stephon Gilmore is doing an outstanding job. Jordan Lewis is looking great in the slot, or at least looking serviceable in the slot, which gives you promise for years to come.
Yeah.
But as for on Sunday, that's probably going to be the area you look at the most. Who's your slot guy? Because I think Jordan Lewis is the guy who's the ability to be fresh food.
Yeah.
In that secondary.
So the whole onus, no, not onus, the whole like the what is the word that I'm looking for? The Eagles' objective on offense has been get the ball to AJ Brown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And that's why he's been putting up so many yards per game. 125 yards. Just boom, 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 boom. Right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Who are you looking to have guard him? Is it gonna be Bland? Is it gonna be Gilly plus another guy? What are you trying to do?
I mean, I really don't think it matters. I'm being totally honest with you. I don't think it's to the point I gotta travel with them. I think both of my corners are definitely above past being serviceable. I just think it's going to be the scheme, uh, more than anything. I think you're going to shade towards him, but I think you got rangy enough guys to do that. I think you have rangy guys with with Hooker. I think Donald's going to be a problem dealing with Dallas Goddard, especially with Curse and dealing with that. But you just got guys who can run and float. So I don't think it's that I gotta like, hey, he's gotta cover him. I gotta have him on him. I don't think that's the issue. I think both of my guys are just as good. The guy who I wish is out there is somewhere on crutches or on the sideline walking around. But that's for another time, another season. So I don't think it's to the point I have to have him on him, or I feel such a deficiency on the opposite side with Gilmore, because I don't. I think Gilmore's played amazingly well, to be honest with you. So I don't think it's to the point like, oh, I'm gonna have him travel because he's just destroying us. No, it's gonna be like you said, causing pressure. If it's gonna be at that right guard, causing havoc in that area, and making Jalen have to make decisions in a hurry and put him in a compromising position. That's the goal.
Okay. So what do you do to stop AJ Brown then? Because I think that if you stop AJ, then I think you have a good chance of stymieing the Eagles' offense. So
but let's look at the wide receivers this year that we played against, right? You pulled up the empirical data. Garrett Wilson he had one big catch on us, right?
Just one.
I mean, you turned around last week. What was my man for the Rams? Not Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell. I think I just cursed somebody.
Yeah, you did. You are speaking in tongues. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, none of those guys really got off. They had maybe one drive. So I don't think it's just so much like, oh, hey, we're not gonna disrespect them and not cover them. I just think our scheme and the way we play defense makes it to the point that whomever it is, we don't have guys really get off on us. We haven't. I think the guys that have hurt us, I mean, in the games we had this year, in the two losses you had this year, you had Hollywood Brown beat you. Or hurt you. Bland, that was his second game out as a starting corner. Matter of fact, it was his first game as an outside boundary corner.
Yeah. Diggs had just got hurt on that Tuesday.
He had just got hurt that week. So since then, you got the numbers there. Who's had a huge, huge game receiving wise against us? I'll go and help you. Nobody. Okay? I'm just being honest with you. So I don't think it's to the point that Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are going to have a monster game. I think they're going to cap catches. I just don't think they're going to be to the point of beating us. I think our biggest problem is dealing with the tight end. So, how does J-Ron play against the tight end? How does how does Donald play in those situations? How does my man number 14, the linebacker, former safety out of FAMU, Marquise Bell plays in those situations, and I think that's important. I think that's my biggest thing for us. I'm not really so much worried about our secondary is a liability and we're just getting burnt. No, I don't think that's the issue. I think the biggest issue is how we continue to stay true to our scheme, getting pressure and causing them to have to play the deficiency, playing behind the chains more than they want to. Because let's be honest, they don't want to play 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and have Jalen have to sit back and throw you to a win. They don't want that.
Okay. So I'm glad that you talked about J-Ron, Chris. J-Ron has kind of had like an up and down year.
Yep, he has.
Do you want to see a little bit more of Wanye Thomas? Wanye been balling though, Chris. Wanye's been balling though.
Listen, man, Wanye he's got GOAT traits. Okay? Wanye has GOAT traits. Now I know you're probably saying, and if you're kicking with us at 44
Don't
minutes,
do this. Don't do
hey,
this.
hey,
Don't do
hey,
this. See,
hey,
look.
hey,
You see,
hey.
you see, I lean back in my seat. Don't do this.
But you
See,
know where I'm
see,
going.
Chris.
You
I'm
know-
taking
listen,
a sip of my special drink now because you
you can
drive me to
sip your
drink.
drink all you want to. I'm not sipping you to drink. You know what I'm saying? Wanye has GOAT traits.
Okay.
When Wanye is on 25 snaps or less, he looks like the GOAT, Jeff Heath. But more than that, we haven't seen him in that role. So I think this is the time of year or second half of the season you want to see J-Ron Curse get back to old J-Ron, year one J-Ron, year two J-Ron, and being that kind of guy. But I think Wanye's hungry and he wants to play. But yeah, 25 snaps, that's a good number for Wanye.
I think as long as they have like situations where they scheme for him, because J-Ron, Dono, when he isn't necessarily like blitzing and putting the best situations, they haven't been having the best year.
Okay.
And I'm saying J-Ron specifically hasn't been having the best year.
Okay.
Time is catching up with him. That's the best way to say it. Time has been catching up with him.
Well, I think time's caught up with him. I think he's not making as many spectacular plays as he did his first 2 years with the Cowboys, and that's fine.
Yes.
And he may not even be 100%. But the thing about it is,
I'm highly suspecting that.
Yeah. So with him not being 100%, I think that gives you the opportunity to mix and match, Wanye in, get him in, let him use his youth, his willingness to want to just go make plays and things of that nature, and that helps. But you always got to go back with the Cowboys. They're always worried about who's making the most money or who's the guy that's getting paid the most. So they want to see him out there on the field. So in that situation, do I want to see Wanye Thomas play? Yes. Do I want Wanye Thomas to have a more lion's share of the snaps? Not right now.
Not
right
necessarily
now.
the lion's share, Chris.
Yeah.
I think you can have Donald blitzing them a little bit more, things like that. But
Donald's always better when he's like going and seeking and finding the ball. Donald's never been a cover.
T-ball, find ball. There we go.
Yeah, that's him. He's never been that cover guy. I think that's the the mix and matching of with him and Curse or him being able to drop him down in certain situations. Yeah. I just think we've been talking about AJ Brown being who he is. Devontae Smith's going to get his. I just think the guy who I worry about more in this offense or even against the Cowboys is the tight end. And I worry more about Dallas Goedert getting off on us on Sunday than anybody else.
So is Dallas Goedert specifically why you want Curse in?
Absolutely.
Is that the guy that you want to neutralize your tight end?
Yes. Because I think
looking for J. Lou to kind of be in there more.
No.
Or are you looking for Izzy to be in there for that type of situation because he has like a little bit more natural body for that? What are you looking for? Help me to help you.
To help me is to make sure that either J-Ron is dealing with Dallas Goedert, or if I'm dealing with Izzy because of his length and his size and his natural ability to run, him dealing with Dallas Goedert. But I want to be able to move Hurts to the point where he's going to make the biggest mistake by throwing in the double coverage because I've got Dallas Goedert kind of, I've got him under wraps or I've got him covered well, which is going to force him where I can maybe double or slide my safety more over towards AJ Brown to do his thing. I still think Devontae Smith is a capable number 2 wide receiver. He's a really good guy. But I think with him being covered by Gilmore with his craftiness and his ability to play, I think Gilmore handles that fine all day. My biggest issue is taking away options for Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. Whereas then I have to just go chase him and go tackle him. And then I can my front four, my linebackers can go get him and do that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think that if you put enough pressure on Hurts, then that this year anyway, it increases his likelihood of making mistakes and giving the ball away.
Yeah.
So
I think if you can do, well, that's always been him. So that's not just this year. You just had that year last year where everybody thought he went from being a second round guy who wasn't a really super duper accurate passer to coming back the next year, and people having a chance to have a year of film on him, and now they know
Yeah.
what he is. And then
Yeah.
I think if he throws it, and we get it, we can take it away. He don't want to throw a Bland because Bland like to go to the end zone when he get it. And I'm not talking about after the whistle blows. Bland likes to take it to the house. I think Gilly's due for one, and I just think they're going to be able to get pressure and make them do what they don't want to do.
So, what's the best way to say this? I believe that I've been very vocal about the linebacker core. And I hope that, of course there's always improvement there. Marquise Bell has been, the spark plug in that room. Do you think that he is? I don't think that we have a true Mike in that room yet. Still, are you looking for? Do you believe that the guy that we got from what's the guy that we picked up?
I was hoping you was going because his name is eluding me as well.
Yeah. Dude we picked up off of the street who was a draft pick for the Titans. Name's evading me. Mr. What's his face? Are you hoping that he can be a factor in this game because he's going to have to be Rams? Or what are you looking for?
He played against the Rams. He had some plays. I think, like you said, you harped on it. You dinged on it before anybody else did, and you were very loud about it.
I never trusted it. Never trusted it.
You didn't like it. But by picking up, I think with Clark has got to get that net. Clark is better than you. There you go. Yeah, Rashawn. Yeah. So I think if you get him right. Hey man, thanks Stevie. I appreciate it, man. If Rashawn Evans is going to be his second game, so I think he's going to be able to make some moves or be effective. I also believe Damone's going to have to be that guy. But Bell has been serviceable. I think anybody that you can put in those areas, he's been more than serviceable.
Exceeded expectations for me, honestly.
I knew he was going to be able to get on the field. I just felt he was going to be able to get on the field.
Yeah, with the state of this room, of course, he had no choice but to get on the field.
Right. So I understand how you feel that in the offseason, we may have to go get 2, maybe 3 linebackers and hope.
Overshawn will be one, so I can see 2.
But see,
Overshawn will be one, so there'll be 2.
Overshawn is a speed guy. Overshawn is a speed guy.
We need cerebral guys, is what you're saying.
Right. Or just to the point that him being a guy that's a speed guy, coming off an ACL injury, I'm not as apt to rush him back as I would be a guy, another player. So I'm going to be more patient with him. He got hurt in week 2.
Overshawn got hurt in the preseason.
Oh shoot! Okay, week 2 of the preseason. All right. It was his second week of preseason. So I'm seeing him getting back in August. That's a full year. So I might not see Overshawn until like maybe week 6 because I want to ease him back into it. Yeah. Which is a situation for next year. That's down the road. But going back to what you said, you're looking at getting 2, maybe 3 linebackers this year. Free agency and things of that nature.
Look.
Yeah, I mean,
I hate to say I saw it coming, but hey.
I mean,
you saw it coming.
Yeah, no, you don't hate to say you saw it coming. You like being right, but you didn't want that to be an issue for us. But going back to this game here, your linebackers are going to be your biggest issue. Because you're going to want to make sure that they're plugging the way you want them to plug. You don't want this running game to get going because at the end of the day, they want to run the football. They want to run. They want to be a run first team anyway. So if you can turn around between Clark, between Micah, between Bell, between Evans, and y'all can be able to kind of keep that thing, keep your gap integrity the way you need to. Don't cause any cutbacks and things of that nature. shout out to Okoye Media. He put a great film study out
Yes, sir.
about what he was going to be doing with the team, with the linebackers, what Mozzie was doing, what everybody was doing in that area. So, with that being said, if we can get them to the point of, hey, we're kind of slowing down the run game and forcing Hurst to have to be the passer that he doesn't want to be, advantage Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those areas where I believe that guys can show up. Because like I said, if you neutralize AJ, then I believe you neutralize their offense. Outside of AJ Brown, well, let me rephrase this. The game that the Eagles have lost, and honestly, a lot of the games that they've struggled, teams have been able to neutralize AJ Brown.
Or slow him down, not neutralize him, but slow him down.
I'll concede that.
Yeah.
Games where they've slowed him down, teams have been able to, look feisty.
Okay. So if you slow him down, you got a chance. So here's the elephant in the room. And I know most people don't want to deal with it.
Of course.
Does Force show up huge on Sunday?
Yeah. I believe so. Why wouldn't he?
Because the last time we were in one of these situations this season, Ford didn't show up big. So talk to me. Do you think we're in the process of, after the bye, this offense starting to show signs of coming around and being prolific and being efficient in certain areas? How do you feel about that?
Yes. And my second point is we talked prior about last time that we lost to, the 49ers. Just some teams just have your number. Can't we say the same thing about the Cowboys just having the 49ers number?
I mean, you talking about the Eagles number?
Excuse me, the Cowboys just having the Eagles number? Can't we say that at this point?
I mean, some teams you can't beat. I mean, it's like that, like the Commanders can't beat the Eagles. They show that no matter how often they do it, they can't beat it. They get close, but they can't beat it.
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah, you're right. Almost is with. So, yeah, I think this is I think for us it's and for
last
both,
10 matchups.
Yeah. And the two we lost, what happened to those two we lost?
Dak didn't play in at least one.
No, he didn't play in one, and the other one. What happened to the other one?
He didn't play in this one.
No, he didn't play in that first one yet. But the thing about it is that he had a bad shoulder in one of those.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, but that's fair. I do know for 100% fact that in this one, Dak did not play.
Yeah, you talking about the first one last year?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, at a certain point, you just have to acknowledge that. Yeah, sometimes one team has another team's number.
Okay.
Can't if we say that the 49ers have the Cowboys numbers, can't we say that the Cowboys have the Eagles?
You can say that. You can definitely say that. I think this year has a little bit more. It always has weight to it. It always has implications with it. Just think this year,
it's a divisional game. Of course, it has implications.
You said that out the gate. But I think this year just has even a little bit more sauce on it. It has a little more sauce on it.
A little bit.
And yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing. So we 59 minutes into this thing, man. We don't want to hold you all night. We appreciate everybody who's came and kicked it with us and rocked with us as long. So I need my main man BH. I need your prediction for Sunday, man. What you looking like?
I am going to say 34-21 Cowboys.
Oh, we throwing 30 up on them?
Yeah.
34-21. Is it like handedly all through the game, or is it like another defensive turnover and then a late touchdown to just seal the deal? Is that what you're talking about? Why
This
34?
defense
That's an odd number. Why 34? So we getting a bunch of field goals. What are you talking about?
I think it's gonna be quite a few field goals. I think that the red zone, woes are gonna show their head a little bit because they have a good defensive front.
Okay,
They got a good defensive front.
Right. But my thing is, we're not gonna make them kick no field goals. They just gonna score 3 touchdowns.
I think
you said 21.
Yeah. I think that they are going to. They might just straight up score 3 touchdowns. Yeah. That is what my heart instantly told.
So
soon as you asked me to score, my heart just said those 2 numbers.
Okay, so it's gonna be 34-21.
Cowboys.
Dallas wins the game.
Yeah.
They kind of what we just
we
dominate.
We gonna get it. We gonna get it. We gonna take at least one from Hurts. We gonna take at least one from him.
Okay.
At least one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you saying so Hurts gives you one.
Give us at least one.
And at minimum one. That's what we're on.
At least one. At least one.
Okay. So you figure we win the turnover. We win the turnover battle.
Yes.
And okay. All right. Well, in Philly on the road.
Yep.
I think this is a night where Rain Dakota gets masterful. I think he gets, and CeeDee Lamb has another pay me my money, stop playing me about my checkbook type night.
Pay CeeDee Lamb, man. Pay CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. But that's for another show, for another time.
Yeah.
For us talking about paying CeeDee Lamb. But I look for Dallas to get. I think Mike gets into his bag. Yeah, I think they go 35. 35 14, 35-17. I think because once Dallas starts widening, they got to throw the ball more. That gets to unleash that pass rush. And when that pass rush gets to get unleashed, we've seen how they've acted all year long. If they get a chance to rush you and get after you, Dan's the mad scientist, and Jalen's going to give it up. So I think it's a 35-17 type situation, and a pure dismantling and a whole bunch of questions about who Jalen Hurts and who the Eagles are. If they're like paper champions, are they really as good as we think they are? And then the whole balance of power shifts. It's going to be one of those seismic shifting of power type games. Cowboys beat them, and now they're now we've finally seen someone catch up and beat the Eagles, and now are the Eagles really the best team? Because I think they want to crown another team as being the best team in the NFC. I think they really because the 49ers have kind of stumbled back since beating us. And I think what it does, it gives the narrative for another team, like the Lions, who I think that the national media wants to crown as being this really good football team.
They're not champions yet, but Lions are really good.
They're a really good football team. So I think Rain has a coming not like a coming about party, but just a hey, big stage. I am who I am. I am for, and he goes and does his job. So that's what I think. Cowboys 34, Eagles 17. Yeah.
And you talked about my score prediction is.
I just want to see where you're at. I expect the defense
a shellacking.
I expect the defense to be dominant in every game they played this year. You had the periodical data. They scored 30 points in all wins.
There we go.
30 points in all wins. That means that this offense can get up and down, and they frustrate you, and the defense can score. So let's go to work. I think the Cowboys get out on Sunday night and do their thing.
John Jones just said that the Lions are going to win the NFC. It's a bold prediction. Bold prediction.
Hey, man, either John got a friend in Vegas or something like that. But, hey, stranger things have happened. Texas Rangers won the World Series. Who would have thunk that? So
who would have thought it? So anything is possible. Any given Sunday, I say that.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah. Well, listen, man, 1 hour, 4 minutes, man. We thank you, man. We appreciate y'all kicking with us on a Friday night, man. I know, me and B, man, we get in here and we tell y'all we're going to be doing it more often. And then my schedule hurts his hurts his vibe because he's always hit me with stuff to do. But since you've been here this long, man, hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? If you kick it with us enough, we got enough stuff in the vault, man. Subscribe and follow us and see what we know what we're talking about. But more importantly, man, drop a comment. Drop a comment in there so we can be able to get back and interact with each other and go from there, man. You can always find Brandon on Twitter right there at Frankly Football. You can find me at Playmaker8602 on Twitter, man. So we love the interaction, man. But as always, man, I am the sidekick to the superhero. I'm the guy in the back. I'm the assist guy. You know, I'm like the Dwayne Wade, and he's LeBron, man. And together, man, we will always be Frankly Football. And until next time, peace.